What's up, Amazon sellers? If you're interested in scaling your business to 50K a month while still in college, then AllDayFBA is going to share everything about his journey, how he scaled it doing online arbitrage, and he had a couple of big problems along the journey, which I think you're going to want to know about. Stay tuned. AllDayFBA, thank you so much for taking time out. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little about how you got started in Amazon?
Yeah, so if anyone doesn't know me so far, my name's Sabo. I go by AllDayFBA, allday.fba on Instagram. I started this Amazon journey about, I want to say 2.5, 3 years ago. I learned a lot along the way, made a lot of mistakes, lost a lot of money, not gonna lie. And, but it's been fun. Been teaching people now, teaching them how to either start or scale their own Amazon businesses. And all whilst, being in college student, playing football, all that. It's been fun. And I'm excited to get into it.
How did you get into the Amazon FBA world?
So I just graduated high school. I was working at a pizza shop, and my friend, he just showed me a video of this guy from our local area, and you guys probably know him as Richie Hustles. So he showed me a Richie Hustles video, and he was just going into stores like BJ's, Walmart, just scanning items. And I had I was doing a little bit of eBay drop shipping at the time, probably trying to do some Shopify shenanigans here and there. I was really just kind of looking for a way to make money online, and ever since I was a kid, I've always just enjoyed the thought of sitting on my couch, just typing away, making money, and just having it roll through without me having go to work, because I see my parents go to work every day, sometimes just come home really tired, and I'd rather make money and still do stuff that I enjoy. So I really wanted to try and find something where I could do that. So when he first showed me this, I was like, okay, this seems interesting. I've never even seen this concept of going into stores to resell items before, so I was like, all right. So I went with him. We went to Dollar Tree. We scanned a bunch of stuff. We found a couple items here and there, but he just kind of showed me the process. And this is my first time ever seeing anything Amazon related, so everything was gibberish to me. He would scan the item on the shelf. He'd be like, oh yeah, this is 100,000 sales, or this is terrible. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Eventually I was just like, all right, you know what, let me just download this. The account, it's free to get started basically. So I was like, all right, the professional plan's $40 a month. So I was like, all right, if I can't make $40 a month doing this, then I don't think online business isn't for me. And that's what I tell everyone when they ask me to get started. Do I need a professional plan to get started? I'm like, yes, it's going to help you out. You could start with the individual, but the professional plan is the way to go. And they're like, it's $40 a month. If you don't think you can make $40 a month doing this, then you might want to try and look for something else. But that's how I got started. So I started doing that little bit of RA. Didn't really have much success. I didn't really know what I was doing, really. I was just kind of going around any barcode I saw. I just pulled out the phone. And back then, I didn't even have I didn't know about Seller Amp or Keeper or anything that we use now. So I was just using straight Amazon Seller App, just checking, is the sales rank good? Can I buy it and make money off it? Yeah, all right, well, we'll test it out. Did that for a little bit, and then I was doing some eBay drop shipping on the side, so I was like, okay, well, what if I combine eBay drop shipping with Amazon? Because how Amazon worked, and this is why I love it, it already has all the customers on there for you. So if you find a good product that's already in demand, all you have to do is list it, and the sales just come naturally. So stuff like Shopify, you gotta attract customers to your website and really try and drive them in to get the sale. But with Amazon, it's super easy. That's one of the main reasons why I love Amazon. I just think it's so much more scalable than really any other online business out there right now.
It's a classic one, isn't it? You don't think it's possible when you see someone with a camera or on the video, and you're like, what? You can just go into the store and make money online? This is incredible. I absolutely love it. Talk me through your what's the situation at the moment? Because I appreciate we talked a bit off air, but what's your current sales? Give me an answer of that right now on Amazon, say last month.
So if we're talking about right now, it'd be around we're pushing around 20K a month, which for me, it's decent. If you told anyone oh yeah, I'm doing 20K a month on Amazon, they'd be like, holy shit, that's amazing. But I've had some account issues and whatnot, and I know I can do way better. I just need to deploy more capital, which I don't really have access to right now. But for me, it's a long-term game. So right now we're pushing around 20K a month, but last year we were doing 30, 40, 50K, really just trying to grow each month over month, just buying more stuff and continuing on our replens. But yeah, that's a little bit about where I am right now. But the goal for, I want to say within the next year, would probably be to, one, get back to my 50K a month state, which shouldn't be too hard, but really start, getting access to all these sources of capital and start doing, 100K a month. Because I know, with my skill set, it's super easy to do that. Just outsource a couple things.
I think that's the interesting thing. The problem you get with this business model is once you start making some money, you're like, man, I want to keep making more. And it's capital. So you mentioned, I mean, we know obviously you're at college at the moment. Like, talk us through like how much time do you spend on your business? You know, how serious is the Amazon game for you?
So I want to say from the months of like August to November, December, that's like football season for me. So time for me is like very limited. Then I have to like schedule time blocks. Usually I try and do my sourcing like on my breaks or like at night. I try and do some mining here and there, make some content in the off season, and you know, just during the summertime, majority of the school year, you know, I actually do spend like quite a bit of time doing Amazon. Like there'll just be times when I'm bored in class, I'm just like, you know what, let's just open up Nike.com, see what they got going on in here. But like actual dedicated time blocks, you know, I'll spend probably like 2 to 3 hours a day just doing all my stuff Amazon related, whether that's sourcing, buying, making some content. But realistically, like nowadays I don't really spend too much time working on it day to day, but also there are some days where, you know, I will just sit down for like 6-7 hours and really just get everything I need done and really just start going hard.
That's good. No, I like it. And you're like, you talked about there, like going to Nike.com. Talk me about your, like, how are you finding deals? How are you sourcing? Like, what's working for you? Because I think you said, obviously, we spoke off there, like the bulk of the work, right, or the sourcing right now is OA. So tell me about that. How are you finding those deals?
So actually right now, my favorite method has been Keeper Product Finder. That's been like one of my favorite methods that I've really been trying to master in these past few months. Back then, like when I first started back then, it used to be a lot of, you know, reverse sourcing and, you know, kind of what the gurus teach, like find a product that's great value and then, you know, go on the sellers and then great value is a Walmart brand. So they're selling Walmart products and all that. But the thing with that is, you know, some of the products, and I realized this kind of late-ish, I was like, dang, a lot of the products I'm buying are tanking. And it's because, you know, you're doing the same strategy that everybody else is doing. So I was like, okay, how can I diverse and whatnot? So Keeper Product Finder. At first, I kind of struggled with it. You know, a lot of people say that, but if you really just kind of like think about it for a second and just think about what each specific filter does and why it would be a good trait to have in a product that you want to sell, then you can really start, you know, getting really creative, really like level up your sourcing, like especially if you couple it with like, say, a site sale. There's one example, like Puritan's Pride. I don't know if you're familiar with that brand, but it's like a vitamin brand or whatever, and they have sales on their website sometimes. What I would do at first would just, you know, kind of just go to like, say, clearance or whatever and just start manually sourcing with SellerAmp. But what I realized I could do now is I could just plug in the Puritan's Pride brand into Keeper Product Finder, and whatever they have sales on, plug in some filters, like say I want anything sub 100k sales rank, anything with a buy box over say $25. I can do all of that and then search for specific products that I want, and that's been really successful for me. And I found some really interesting products with Keeper Product Finder as well, like some products that are out of stock or have like no competition whatsoever and the price is just super high. So I'll just test it out merchant fulfilled to see if it actually sells. Sometimes these units sell like crazy, so I'm like, okay, like, and there's nobody on this listing, and you can only really find those by, you know, either by luck or by, you know, setting specific filters like that.
You've started out, you've been doing this, like what advice do you have for like people who are getting sourcing? You talked a bit about there, don't do storefront stalking, look at Keeper Product Finder. Like what kind of advice do you have for people who are getting started, like, you know, who want to follow in your footsteps?
So I'd say like just a general like ideology of sourcing is just try and like either figure out where the competition isn't at, but there's also a lot of opportunity where the competition is. I will say there are a lot of products on Amazon that you just wouldn't think sell well, and they actually do. Things like common hoodies, shoes, pants, that if you really just think about it for a sec, like the average Amazon customer, they're buying pretty basic stuff. So a lot of times that will sell well. So the ideology of sourcing for me is just how can I get my buy cost as low as possible, or how can I just get creative in finding products and really trying to like make my margin. So I source a lot of sales. I don't really buy stuff full price. I'll try and like get a discount here and there. Or if I am buying full price, you know, the Amazon listing has to be pretty good for me to do that. But really it's just how can I get my buy cost lower, or how can I like just kind of think outside the box, because there's millions of products out there, and you know, everyone like nowadays I feel like it is kind of sticking to like the main things, like, you know, just go on a Nike sale and start sourcing some shorts or like Air Forces or something. And that's like, you know, there's so many opportunities out there that you just gotta kind of branch out and really look at, give everything a chance, I'd say. Because there's some stuff that I would pass over, and then I'd see, like, I'd go back to them like, dang, like, I wish I bought this 3 weeks ago because it was such a good opportunity. I missed out on so much money.
No, I know that. Like, I've seen that too many times where it's like, man, like, I went deep, but I should have gone a lot deeper. And it's like, I should have brought a lot more. And then on the inverse, sometimes it's like, I've gone too deep and I've still got stock like a year later. Like, damn. Do you have a VA at the moment? Is it something you're thinking about? What about prep centers? What about kind of like things that help grow your business? Are you using any of them? to scale?
I did have a prep center last year when I had my other Amazon account, but they recently shut down early this winter. But my old account was deactivated at the time, so I wasn't even really worried about that. But I am looking to get a prep center within the next few weeks, just because, like I said, college and doing OA, it's gonna be pretty difficult having like 100 packages in the college mail room. I don't know if they would like that very much. So yeah, I'm trying to get a prep center for that. As for VAs, I don't have any. I never had a VA before. I do want to get one just for some Amazon tasks and on the social media side. But at the same time, I do like doing everything on my own. I like sourcing on my own. Obviously, I could teach a VA how to do it, but like that takes time, and I like having full control of what I buy. I know exactly what I'm getting myself into here and there. But having a VA probably is in the game plan for the next 6 months to a year, just to get as many leads as I can in front of me. Prep center is definitely one of the ways to go if you want to scale past a certain threshold, because once you start doing like 30-40K a month in sales, doing everything yourself does get kind of tiring, and it just becomes a lot. So definitely outsourcing once you get more advanced and you really know what you're doing is probably essential.
What's your long-term vision for the business? What does that look like for you?
Long term, after I graduated in like 2 years. So long term, I want to get my own warehouse in New Hampshire, sales tax free state, and it's kind of close to home. Want to get probably a couple employees and really just start grinding hard, going hard OA, and a lot more wholesale in that. Probably a little bit of RA, because there's money to be made everywhere. But really just getting my own warehouse and really just trying to build it up as best I can, and get my social media up there, get my presence out there, get myself in front of more people, and just kind of build up for like 3 to 5 years, see where it goes, invest in some other businesses, get some money for real estate, and really just kind of grow there.
Now, you mentioned earlier on money was the biggest issue. Obviously, how do you plan to solve that? Capital is the biggest problem everyone faces.
When I first started, when I first started Amazon, I was literally just like working at a pizza shop. So I would take like 90% of my work check, and just like, I didn't even have a credit card at the time. I just take like the $600 I was making a week and just toss it right into buying inventory, merchant filling a bunch of stuff. I was doing drop shipping at the time, and the money was coming back pretty quick. I was doing pretty good. Got myself my first credit card, just basic like $500 limit, and just started building it up there a little bit. But yeah, I got myself like a $500 credit card, started building my credit up there. But as for capital wise, it's just, a lot of what I tell beginners is like, you want to make sure you got like good credit score, good everything, because that makes it so much easier to succeed in Amazon. Because, you set up your business, you get business credit card, getting higher limits. I'd say like what I recommend to a lot of beginners too is like the American Express Plum. That helped me a lot in scaling my business. It gives you a 60-day payment cycle, and it's a pretty good limit. And every month you're just building that up. So that's like one of the keys just to really get started going hard in Amazon, is what I say. And it is hard, in the beginning, if you don't have access to all that, unless you have money up front that you can invest or whatnot. It is going to take some time, but that's what I tell everyone. Like, the more you have, obviously, the better. You just got to know what to do with it.
No, okay. And you mentioned Amex Plum there. Any other kind of top tips for building credit?
One of them, I'd say, is don't get your account deactivated, so your funds don't get reimbursed and you can't pay off your credit card bills. That's one of them, I'd say. But as for that, I mean, I've been looking more into that because I've been having to rebuild mine from that exact situation. But really just from the start, get like a couple sources. And I'm actually helping some of my friends do this right now, but like get like a credit card for like your main bank, and like there's a couple services like Self is like a service where you just pay like every month, whatever you pay, they'll match that in your credit limit. And it's like a savings account too, so like at the end of like 2 years, whatever, they'll give you all the money that you put in saved over time, and it reports to all 3 credit bureaus. It's giving you payment history there. But yeah, really just like after like 4, 5, 6 months, you really start to see it go up. And once I tell my friends, like, once you have like a little bit of history, you got like a 700 credit score, because if you start fresh and you don't make any mistakes, like, it's super easy to really get access to the capital that you want and need to go hard on Amazon within a few months to a year. So just make your payments on time. And
yeah, you mentioned about those like banks that are saving that report to the 3 credit bureaus. Can you name them? I'd love to know.
Yeah, like I said, there's this one service called Self. I heard some people talk about, there's like a program at Navy Federal, but I'm not too keen on that. But what I used was this thing called Self. So they have different payment plans. I think one's like 30, 50, and like $150 a month, something like that. So what I did was I used the $150 a month because that's pretty easy. Everyone has $100 balance to put away into savings. So I did that, and you just pay every month, and then I think once you put in like $300 or so, they'll give you a physical credit card, and then after that, like they report to the 3 credit bureaus every month. Once you start doing that, it's like a really good tip for beginners, because if you have no credit history or also just a low credit score, like you can use this service and it reports. If you just keep on making payments, it establishes history, and you're also building a credit limit too, so it acts as a credit card and it's a savings account. So every time you pay, it's not like you're just paying off a balance, you're paying it, but it's going into savings. And they do give you, I think they do give you a little bit of interest here and there. Mine was like a 2-year term, so every month you put in like $150, and I think at the end of the 2 years, if I do all my payments, they'll give me like $3,000 some dollars, however much I put in, and they'll just give it all back to me. But yeah, it also equals my credit limit too, so it's a pretty cool service. I've heard some people talk about it, so I tried it out, and I like it.
You talked about it earlier on, you alluded to it, and you talked about it just a minute ago, account shutdown. Tell me about that. What does that mean? Like, that must have been a massive challenge. Like, I know we talked off air about it, but tell me about it. Like, what happened?
Yeah, so Amazon, they're not too fond of me right now. They haven't been for a little bit, but basically what happened was back when I first started, so after I found out you could scan items from the store, make money doing retail arbitrage, I was doing a little bit of eBay dropshipping on the side there. So I was like, what if I combine eBay dropshipping and Amazon's platform? And I thought I made like a revolutionary breakthrough or whatever. Now I'm remembering too, I had this software. It's called AMZ Scraper back in the day. I don't know if it's still around or not, but basically what I would do is I would input a seller's storefront ID, and then the software would take like 30 seconds, and it would like scan all their ASINs, and it would find every single product that they had and a match to a retail store counterpart. And if the price was like low enough, it worked for like any items. For example, I found like a fan on Amazon, someone's Amazon store, for like $150, and it would find that same fan on like Home Depot for like $110 or whatnot. So I would list it merchant fulfilled, and then whenever I got a sale, I would just buy it straight from Home Depot, put in the customer's address, and then when I got the tracking number, just input that, and then merchant fulfilled order would be all set. So I was doing that for a little bit. It did get kind of choppy here and there. There are some times, I remember you told me off camera how like you oversold inventory. So there were some times that I did that, but I did oversell some stuff. Like I'd be making my purchases, and then I'd refresh the button to buy the next order, and then the site would be like, oh, out of stock. So I'll be like, oh. But actually one way I figured out to get around this for merchant fulfilled orders was, it's kind of iffy. I've had a few issues with this, with the customer messaging me, but how I got around it was I would input either a fake tracking number or a tracking number for an order that I had already shipped. That was shipping the same day. I would input the fake tracking number so it would be marked as shipped, and then I'd go into the order right away, and then I would refund the customer and message them saying, oh yeah, your item was lost in shipment or whatnot. So that way I didn't affect my my account health metrics if I just straight up canceled the order because I had no inventory. I learned that the hard way the first time because I listed some books from eBay. There was like this eBay seller. I didn't know it was a scam seller though. So they were selling some books for like $10 and they're going for like $50 on Amazon. So I was like, oh shit, like this is some real money. And then when I tried to order them from the seller, like eBay was like, oh yeah, this is a scam seller, yada yada. So I had like 12 orders of books I couldn't ship. So I canceled them all. And this was like my first week on Amazon too. I canceled them all, and then like 20 minutes later I saw your account has been deactivated for order cancellation. I was like, oh. And then that was an easy reactivation process. That was one of the easiest ones I've had to date so far. I wish it was that easy for me now, but yeah, I just had to submit an appeal saying what was going on, like where's my inventory. I was like, oh yeah, I just over counted, thought I had more than I had, my fault. And then they got me back up same day. But yeah.
Drop shipping, is that allowed? Like retail drop shipping, is that allowed on Amazon?
So I know that drop shipping technically is allowed. Like they do have a whole like drop shipping page like saying how you can drop ship on Amazon, but it's super hard, and like the way that most people are gonna do it, you're almost bound to fail like me. So I was inputting the customer's address right from the Home Depot website. So yeah, I'd input their address from the website, and then after I got the track number, put it in. So that method was, I didn't know it was against terms of service, but it actually is. So the way to do drop shipping on Amazon is you have to find a supplier that doesn't like have their own branding on the boxes, and they also don't put like invoices in the packaging. Basically, like the customer should have no reason or way to know that it came from a third-party supplier and wasn't just shipped directly from you. So, obviously if you're ordering from Walmart, it's going to come in like a Walmart box. It might have the receipt, it might have the invoice and whatnot like that. So that's where it comes, if your Amazon Amazon customer, and I've heard this plenty of times. If you're an Amazon customer, like say you order something and then it comes in it comes in another box, and two, you see the invoice and then you paid, let's say you paid like $60 on Amazon. They're buying it for like 30. You're like, I could have got this half off. Like, you kidding me? So I do understand it in that department. I didn't really, luckily for me, I didn't really get any of those in my time doing dropshipping. But Amazon clipped me for an inauthentic items claim for 3 ASINs, I think. There was like this 3 ASIN suspension thing that was going around, and I don't know if it's still a thing. It probably is, but basically all they needed was they requested invoices for 3 random ASINs that I didn't even sell at the time. And because I was doing drop shipping and I hadn't sold these ASINs before, I didn't have any invoices to send to them that were before the suspension. So because I had no invoices, I was basically screwed. Like, I had nothing to submit. Like, I could submit to them, and this is why my first account is deactivated, because I technically have no proof or no way to reactivate it because I don't have those invoices. So that's what happened to me. They requested those invoices from me. I wasn't able to provide them because I didn't sell those units before I got suspended, and therefore they're like, hey, you can't get reactivated unless you submit these invoices. So I tried future invoices. I tried ordering those same products after the suspension. They said, no, you need it before. They basically screwed me over there. But the products weren't inauthentic. Like, nothing I was selling was quote unquote inauthentic because they're all from retail suppliers that we ordered from anyways for OA and RA and all that.
You mentioned the account got suspended and you said you couldn't get it back. Like, I know we spoke off air, but like, what's happened since then? Because obviously you're still selling on Amazon now. Like, how are you still selling if the account's suspended? Like, if anyone's like watching, like, hey, how does this guy sell? How does that work?
Yeah, so that was my main account. That was linked under all of my information and whatnot. So what I had to do was I had to get another account. I had my friend register my Amazon account under their information, and I was like, if they're not really using it, I was like, okay, I'll just kind of run this. I'll link a third-party bank account. I think it's in my LLC's name, so it doesn't have like my information on that. Basically, all you have to do to really just keep yourself clean on Amazon if you have another account and your first one got suspended was just make sure like your address, your name isn't like anywhere to be like linked. Just don't give Amazon a reason to like find you, and they won't. I was clean. I was doing that for like 7-8 months, perfectly fine. Everything was going good. And then like you said, we spoke off air, but what happened was for my second Amazon account, I was filling out an Amazon lending form because this was like October, November, so right, Q4 is just heating up. So I'm like, okay, I got 30K loan application right here. We're gonna go hard on some Halloween candy, Christmas, Black Friday deals, everything like that. So I was filled out all the information, business, store name, everything like that, and I put my main phone number, which was linked to my drop shipping account, my first one. And I was just in class, filling it out. I wasn't even thinking about it. Like, professor was talking about some like finance stuff on the board. I was like, all right, whatever. Filling out the form and then submitted it. I was like, all right, boom, everything's good. And then woke up the next morning. The first thing I do every morning is check my sales. That's like, people go on social media, whatever, but when you start doing Amazon, checking your sales from overnight is the first thing you just naturally do, at least for me. So I did that, and I saw my sales were 0, and I saw a big red "you have been deactivated" button at the top. So I was like, nah. I checked my email and it said you've been deactivated because your account has been related to my first account's called FBA Boys. I was like, your account's been related to FBA Boys. You need to please try and get your first account back before you can try and appeal for this one. So that's what happened, and it really sucks because, like I said, I'm unable to get my first account back. So getting the second one is next to impossible. I had to start a third one, which is what I have now with my friend in California, but we're just running it up and doing good numbers month over month. Took us a minute to get like all the ungating and approval for everything like that, but we're slowly building it back up now. But yeah, as long as you don't have your information linking the two accounts, your name, address, phone numbers, even bank accounts. Some people say Wi-Fi, but just to be safe, you could use like a VPN or whatnot. But make sure Amazon just doesn't have any way to find you, I want to say, quote unquote, and you can operate just as normally and you still make your money perfectly fine on Amazon.
Number one, drop shipping from retail stores is against terms of service, because you talked about it in regards to having another brand on the label, but then also as well selling on Amazon with multiple accounts is against terms of service as well. Like, obviously you got one account shut down, they don't really give you a second chance. Like you said, you got a problem. So I think if anyone's watching this right now, just be mindful that creating multiple selling accounts when you got one shut down, it isn't something which Amazon approves or is an approved thing. Like, you have to kind of get back channels. Please, like, just keep that in mind. It's not saying like you should follow this, but I think the question I would ask you is like, why do you do it? Like, why did you continue? Why have you not said, look, I've had had 2 accounts shut down, I'm done, like I'm out of here. Why continue doing it?
Yeah, so it was just one of the first real ways to make money that was truly scalable for me, because there's a lot of ways to make money, make quick 50, $100. Like you could do small stuff from filling out like surveys online to trying to do affiliate marketing and create a Shopify dropshipping store and whatnot. But for me, it was like, okay, all you got to do is find products that people want. It's as simple as these Crayola markers that I have right here. Products that people want. All you got to do is find out a lower price and sell it on Amazon, which has been around for years and will continue to be around for years. So for me, I'm not really worried about jumping a few hurdles. It does suck in the moment, like having all this money, just kind of being lost and having to restart twice already now. But for me, I'm in it for the long game, and I just love doing it, and it's just so much opportunity that I just can't pass it up.
If anyone wants to get in contact with you, what's the best way to do it?
Instagram at AllDayFBA.
So I just want to say thank you so much for obviously taking time out, and hey, like massive respect for you for trying to hustle. You've gone through setback after setback and you're still going through it. Amazon is an amazing opportunity, but also I think as well, it's so easy to get discouraged. Trying to build a business, trying to be an entrepreneur is hard. It's really hard. And you're always making mistakes. Like this is it. Like we only learn from our mistakes. And, I think for you is if you say, keep hustling, keep trying to, build that dream, because, it's hard. But obviously when you get there, you'll look back on it and be like, man, I remember that was tough times, but I'm proud I went through it and what I had to achieve. So thank you so much. And if anyone wants to know, have a look at the links down below. Obviously you'll be able to contact AllDayFBA and obviously get in contact with him there and have that conversation. So yeah, check it out down below. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Thomas.